Imagine this, you're on a dream trip, but no internet, no maps, nowhere to share your moments with the world. Sounds frustrating, right? If only I knew this one thing before I started traveling, it would have saved me so much time and stress. Also, let's not forget tons of money. Recent story that I'd like to share with you guys. When I was in Rabat, Morocco, I spent hours hunting for a local SIM. But the one I had just stopped working, the one that I purchased from the airport. I literally almost missed my train. And that was to the next city, which was from Rabat to Casablanca. Some of you guys probably watched that video, but I didn't show what happened during the whole process because it was just such a rush to make sure I get the train on time. Because when you don't have internet and trying to move around, especially when you're in a new country, it can be difficult. But finally, I found something that solves these issues. So whenever I travel now, I never have the issue of losing internet connection, or if the SIM card stops working, I no longer run into the issues of being in the middle of somewhere I am not familiar with. And as we know nowadays, when you travel or just anywhere you are around the world, when you don't have connection to the internet, you are literally lost, because everything we do nowadays is connected via internet, via our phones. And that's when I discovered Holafly. As some of you guys know that have been watching my videos now for some time, I've partnered with them to bring you guys the best deals and how beneficial they've been on my travels. And honestly, whenever you've got trips upcoming, whether it's in the summer, the winter, the Christmas season, the new year that's coming up now, trust me, you're going to want to scrap those SIM cards and get yourself a eSIM. And I'll explain why. The thing I love specifically about Holafly, give you internet access in over 210 plus countries. It's super easy to activate the eSIM, unlike physical SIM cards when you get to the airport having to queue up. You literally download the application before you even arrive to the country via the App Store or the Google Play Store, whichever you guys are. If you're an iPhone or Samsung user, let me know in the comments which one you guys are. For me personally, I'm iPhone. And downloading it and following the step-by-step guide on how to install the eSIM on your phone. Unlike when you get to an airport and having to queue up, take your SIM card out, risk losing your home SIM card. And as we know, we've got a lot of our banking apps nowadays that are linked to our home SIM card. You no longer have that risk when you travel to lose your SIM card anymore, because you can keep the physical one still in there whilst you use this eSIM. So if you've got things like banking apps and you need to like top up some money and they need to do like a two-step authentication, you can still have your home SIM card set up on your phone, so you can still receive those messages and also have the eSIM on the side giving you the internet. And some of the features and benefits that I really think it's important to highlight when it comes to Holafly are, firstly, the global coverage. Honestly, from all the travels that I've been to recently, from bustling cities like Warsaw to remote places in Tunisia, Holafly had my back. It doesn't matter if I was in the Medina in Tunisia, where I'm walking around where it's a little bit super busy with hundreds of people, I still had great internet connection, and I was able to hotspot that to my wife Day, so we're able to both have internet connection at the same time, which I honestly loved. Or even if I was in Warsaw in a busy city, I still had super fast internet connection, which is just great. And another thing that I personally love so much is the unlimited data, because I always found myself whenever I travel to different countries that I always run out of data. I don't know about you guys, but let me know in the comments if you're in the same boat. I could stream, upload and navigate without ever having to worry about running out of data. And honestly, being a digital nomad, as you guys know, having unlimited data has just been one of the best things for me, because I could easily run through about 20 gigabytes of data in 1 week. And nowadays, with how Instagram and social media is and how much data it takes, using a limited supply of data, especially on a trip, you can easily run out much faster than you would, I would say, 5 years ago. And another thing I personally love so much with Holafly is there's no more requirement for a physical SIM. No more fumbling around with those tiny SIM cards. You can just scan, activate, and you're good to go. And there was an occasion where I was over in Asia, where I was over in Taiwan, and I physically lost my physical SIM card because of actually changing SIM cards from the airport, and I couldn't find my home SIM card anymore. So it was such a nightmare, me accessing my bank when I needed to make top-ups, because I use something called Revolut, which some of you guys probably may have heard of. And in order for me to top up, sometimes I need to get an authentication code. So it was such a lengthy process, because I had to get a SIM card sent to my home address in the UK, and then I had to get that SIM card shipped all the way to Taiwan. Otherwise, I was not able to use my bank account anymore to make purchases. So we had to wait for that, and that was honestly not a pleasant experience. So not having to deal with that anymore, honestly, it's such a game changer. And the next thing I want to touch on is affordable pricing. We all know how much it costs for you to use your home country's data in another country, and it is just, I actually still don't know until this day why they charge such astronomical numbers. It's literally insane. So for me personally, to use my UK data in, let's say, another country, just to get like 1 GB of data. It cost me literally for 1 GB of data almost 10 British pounds, which is just absurd. Where you can get, like, for example, with Holafly, you can get an unlimited data package for roughly around between 40 to 50 US dollars for, like, let's say, depending on obviously how long you want it for. But the difference in pricing is just astronomical. For like a week or 2 weeks unlimited data with Holafly, it could cost you anywhere between 30 to 60 US dollars, or a little bit more just depending where. But if I was to use my home data's package, which they offer the international tariffs as they like to call it, I'd probably be spending almost £200 on a 2-week trip because of how much they charge. It's just insane, and I'm sure you guys can relate. But because nowadays with things like Holafly, eSIMs, you just literally take all that out and you save so much money now. Holafly let me focus on the joy of exploring instead of honestly worrying about connectivity. It's like having a personal travel assistant in my pocket. If I ever need to extend my stay, for example, on a trip, I can easily just go on the application and extend my data for a longer period of time. Super easy. No more having to go to random shops on the street corners and trying to get extra data and handing my passport and giving all my personal details to different shopkeepers and airports. Because that's another thing I'd like to touch on, is that when we're traveling and are paying for these extra SIM cards, they don't just give it to you without giving your passport details. And personally for me, I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable with the amount of times nowadays you have to give your personal details to different places around the world, because we don't know what they actually really do with it. I mean, they personally may not do nothing, but nowadays we know how easy computers and systems are getting hacked left, right and center. And when these things get hacked, that's when our personal details get leaked, like passport details, where we live, date of birth, our full name. And as we know, there's a lot of personal information, guys, on our passports. So you're probably thinking about your phone's compatibility. Holafly actually supports most modern smartphones with eSIM capability, or just to be sure, you can go onto the website and you can find compatibility checker. And when it comes to reliability, I've used it in multiple countries, as I mentioned earlier, like Medina's in Tunisia, Morocco, and Central Europe, and I've had no issues with connectivity. I'll go as far as saying my connectivity with Holafly has been far better than the days when I used to get SIM cards at the airport. Because one thing I found with these SIM cards is, as you guys probably know, actually, even in your home country, different SIM cards seem to have a different range of how great your internet could be. With Holafly, I never felt that. I felt that it didn't matter if I was far away in close to like a desert even, I still had good connection in Morocco. And for example, in Tunisia, if I was in the center, I still had the same relative connection, so I didn't have too much of an issue there. It was always reliable. So if you're tired of wasting time and money while traveling, Holafly is the solution you've been waiting for. The world honestly is too beautiful to miss out because of bad internet. Start taking control of your travels with Holafly and never look back, guys. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section below, or of course you guys usually message me on Instagram with more personal things, so feel free to do the same thing. I know this is a little bit of a different video than what you guys are used to, but I think this is really going to benefit you guys for your upcoming travels. As I was saying earlier, if you've got travels coming up on Christmas, New Year's, on your summer trips that you've got planned coming up next year in 2025, then this is going to be for you guys. And I'll leave all the details on how to get your discount with Holafly in the description, also the pinned comment. And if you're watching from your TV, you can scan this QR code just up here and it will take you direct to your discount. Thank you so much for watching another video, and I will see you on the next adventure here on my channel. And as always, guys, thank you so much for all your support. It means the world. Peace out and good night.